Hello, I'm Jesse Schneider, EV and Planning Section Manager for ADOT. Thank you for joining us to learn about Arizona's electric vehicle charging and infrastructure deployment plan, the 2025 update. Before we begin, we invite you to complete a voluntary one-question survey to help us understand who attends our public meetings and how the department can improve participation. The English survey link is in the lower left-hand side, azdot.gov/AZEV self-ID. You may also use the camera on your smartphone to scan the QR code on the screen, which will take you there directly to the survey. ADOT complies with Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Title II of the Americas with Disability Act of 1990 and other related authorities in all its programs and activities. Any person who believes his or her Title VI or ADA rights have been violated may file a complaint by contacting ADOT Civil Rights Office at 602-712-8946 or by email at civilrightsoffice@azdot.gov within 180 days of alleged violation. ADOT will make reasonable accommodations to ensure that individuals with disabilities have an equal opportunity to enjoy ADOT programs, services, and activities. If you require an accommodation, please contact Nancy Becerra at 623-695-7411 or the Civil Rights Office in this what you see in the screen below. The goal of this public meeting is to provide an overview of the 2025 update of the ADOT EV infrastructure plan. This includes the proposed new highways identified for EV station deployment. We will also touch upon the status of the implementation of the EV plans identified in the past 2022 and 2024 plans. Next, I'd like to provide some background on ADOT's EV program. The National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program, which we'll refer to as NEVI, is making $5 billion available to the states to fund a network of publicly accessible EV chargers along their state's highways designated as alternative fuel corridors. Arizona is eligible for up to $76.5 million of this funding across 5 years. This federal funding can only be used as directed. The construction of EV charging stations along eligible highways. To be eligible for NEVI funding, highways must be on the National Highway System and must be designated as alternative fuel corridors. ADOT has established 6 main goals for planning and implementing the statewide charging network in Arizona. The primary goal of the NEVI program nationwide is to build a charging network that will reduce range anxiety that EV drivers can experience when traveling long distance by ensuring that charging is available along major highways. The EV charging stations in Arizona will be privately owned, designed, constructed, operating, and maintained. ADOT will use the public-private partnership method, or P3, to design, build, upgrade, operate, and maintain these stations. The ADOT Public-Private Partnership Office is leading the contracting process. Please direct your contracting questions to p3office@azdot.gov. The NEVI program funds, or federal funds, up to 80% of the cost, with at least 20% covered by the awarded private section contractor. Therefore, no state funds will be used to build these stations. NEVI requires that states seeking funding develop an implementation plan for establishing a network of EV DC fast charging stations in their state with a minimum of 150 kilowatts, and that they update this plan every year for the duration of the 5-year program. The 2025 FHWA updated the guidance by removing the requirement for stations to be placed within 50 miles of each other and 1 mile from the highway exit, and changed this to be within a reasonable distance. The NEVI program currently requires each station to include at least 4 SAE, or Society of Automotive Engineers, combined charging system, or CCS type connectors, which will charge electric vehicles in approximately 30 minutes or less. As you probably heard in the press, there has been a shift in automotive industry towards the North American Charging Standard, or NACS, also used in Tesla connectors. Based on the industry guidelines, ADOT plans to include both of these connectors as a part of our next advertisement. And now let's go over the EV plan phases and updates in the 2025 plan. Since our last public presentation in July of 2024, there have been some updates related to the awards. In August 2024, ADOT announced Phase 1 awards along the highways. In February 2025, FHWA sent a letter to the states suspending charging infrastructure funding to revise NEVI guidance to align with the administration policies. Thereafter, the ADOT Phase 2 advertisement was canceled. However, in July 2025, a federal judge ordered the resumption of the NEVI funding in Arizona and 13 other states. Therefore, ADOT is working now to authorize and re-advertise the Phase 2 sites. The FHWA issued new guidance for the 2025 plan on August 11th. ADOT has until September 10th to submit a new plan to utilize remaining NEVI funding. Next, I'd like to provide some background on the ADOT's EV program. ADOT is taking a phased approach to the EV plan by starting with the state's interstate highways, Phase 1, and adding new routes with each phase plan update. Here's the status. Phase 1 is comprised of the 2222 EV plan corridors identified in blue on the map. This network focused on the station locations, as mentioned, on the interstate highways. Design has begun, and the first stations are planned to open in 2026. Phase 2 includes the 2023 EV plan corridors in red and 2024 EV corridors in purple. This phase is in process with authorization and re-advertising at this time, planned in the fall of 2025. Phase 3 is the 2025 EV plan. The corridors are represented in light blue. They are not yet approved. However, these are the new AFC nominations that will be included in the 2025 EV plan, which will be submitted on September 10th. And to the good news, last year, as mentioned, Phase 1, ADOT has awarded 18 stations located along the interstates, and ADOT has executed contracts with developers, and we are now in the design phase. Regarding Phase 1, ADOT has received 18 proposals out of 21. The 3 sites that didn't receive proposals will be advertised in Phase 2 in fall of 2025, as mentioned. These Phase 1 stations are expected to open in the beginning of 2026. Phase 2 includes the station locations in the 2023 EV plan in red and the 2024 EV plan in purple. There are a total of 35 stations identified along the state highways, including 3 stations that didn't receive proposals in Phase 1. We anticipate advertising for these stations in the fall of 2025. Stations are expected to open approximately 1 year after the final award. The Phase 2 advertisement planning for fall of 2025. will also contain some location on or near tribal land. The tribes in the vicinity of Phase 2 EV stations are depicted on the right. There's the Colorado River Indian Tribe, the Fort McDowell Yavapai Nation, the Hopi Tribe, the Navajo Nation, and the White Mountain Apache Tribe. Phase 3 has 21 new proposed EV station locations. These are shown along the proposed corridors depicted in light blue on the right. SR 77 from Show Low to Holbrook and Tucson to Piedmont County border, the SR 69 from I-17 to Prescott, the SR 89A to 89 from SR 69 to north of Paladin, the SR 179, the I-17 to Sedona, the 89 to 89A Cottonwood to Sedona, the SR 260 I-17 to SR 89, the SR 85 I-8 to I-10, and the SR 287 Casa Grande to I-10. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the extensive public interest we've had in our EV program and the excellent input we've had received from many Arizonians across the state to help deliver and develop our EV plans. Since June of 2022, we've hosted a series of 6 public meetings regarding our plan. Our meetings were attended by more than 1,500 attendees, and we received more than 2,800 comments regarding the corridors, the EV stations, and priorities for station amenities. Really appreciate the public's interest and involvement. These opportunities are really important to us as they helped us inform the public and refine our plans based on the input received and given us a chance to answer questions. Thank you again for your continued interest in the EV plan. In addition to public outreach, ADOT met with numerous key agencies, tribal, industry, and other stakeholders throughout Arizona to develop various phases of our plan. Key stakeholders included, but were not limited to, industry representatives, tribes, federal agencies, state agencies, local governments, regional organizations, and utility providers. By coordinating with a wide range of key stakeholders with technical, professional, and local expertise, ADOT is better able to meet the goal of creating a resilient, accessible, and reliable statewide EV network. Our outreach is ongoing process, and key stakeholders coordination will continue throughout the life of the NEVI program. Now that we've covered what's coming in the 2025 plan update, let's discuss our next steps in the EV program. As mentioned before, we're required to submit the updated plan by September 10th this year to meet the short deadline, and our comment period will close therefore on September 8th. I should say that the Phase 2 advertisement anticipated in fall of 2025 and the Phase 3 advertisement anticipated in 2026 and after the 2025 EV plan is approved and secured. ADOT will continue its staged approach to completing the charging network statewide by awarding contracts to private companies to design, construct, operate, maintain these charging stations identified, and construction is expected to begin within a year of each contract award. Before we close, we want to remind you that we will be accepting comments for the 2025 update through September 8th, although you're certainly free to contact us in any questions and concerns on an ongoing basis beyond that deadline. Comments and questions can be submitted through the links here regarding the azdot.gov EV comments, by email. You can call us at 623-695-7411. And certainly it's a mailing address. And we certainly encourage you to especially to visit the website, azdot.gov/EV plan for more information on the plan and sign up for our emailing list and receive project updates. Thanks again for your interest, and we appreciate your feedback. Wishing you all a great day, and thank you for tuning in.